Welcome, Amakhosi Network. Welcome to the channel. Today, I want to entertain the rumors that we are hearing about certain players that are being linked with Kaizer Chiefs. Some are coming from reputable journalists we can trust, and others, stick attacking. But anyway, before we get into that, please like, comment, and subscribe. So the latest player who has been linked to Kaizer Chiefs, I'm not going to talk about players who have been linked before. I'm just talking about the most recent ones. The latest player that has been linked to Kaizer Chiefs, and it's apparently said that Chiefs is willing to have a real conversation with Sundowns for this player, is Tabelo Maseka. Kaizer Chiefs is apparently in the lookout to sign Tabelo Maseka. They want to sign him. They feel like, based on the game that Nabi wants to play, this transition ball, etc., Tabelo Maseka could potentially actually be a good fit for him, for Nabi. The interesting thing about Tabelo Maseka is that Tabelo Maseka is very much a winger and is very much a transition winger. So what I know, and I feel like may have been a missed opportunity for some coaches, is if Pito was in Sundowns right now, I think he would have found a way for Tabelo to be a right back. Similar to what happened with Umurena. I think Pito would have tried to Tabelo at left back. Now I'm busy saying right back. At left back. And I feel like if it comes to Kaizer Chiefs, that also may be a potential. It may be a potential as Tabelo as an attacking winger that actually scores goals. But it may not actually happen because there is another left back linked to Kaizer Chiefs, and he's a Simba. I don't know if he's currently the Simba captain, but he is a Simba player. I cannot rate him. His name is like Hussein something. I can't rate him. You know, he looks like an energy player, but I worry about our scouting and Nabi's like of certain players. Sometimes I feel like some of the players that Nabi likes are very athletic, but they are not very technical. When I say technical, I mean like skillful. And for some reason, South African defenders know how to defend an athletic player, but they struggle to defend a player that has some level of athleticism and skill. For example, South Africans struggle to basically mark Tembazwane, Ribeiro, Shabalala, Sereno, these kind of players. They struggle with these players, but the more athletics like the Saile and all of, they figure out how to mark those ones. But the only problem is that in South Africa we have those technical players, but they are not Ribeiros, so meaning they can't put the ball in the back of the net a lot of the time. Because if Shabalala knew how to put the ball in the back of the net, he would be on 10 league goals, if we have to be honest. But anyway, the next player that is linked to Kaizer Chiefs is Mulisi. This one is being linked by Kaizer Chiefs, not by journalists or anything. And the Tabelo Maseka one, I saw a headline somewhere about Sokala Duma somewhere there. We know how Sokala Duma rolls, so rather don't trust it. But I in my opinion, if Sundowns is willing to accept like a 12 million rand bid for Tabelo Maseka outsigning me on my side, I'm speaking for myself, because I think he has a lot of potential. And then Mulisi, his contract is ending. Now Mazola reported in the news yesterday that his contract is ending in June, but Sundowns are talking about an extension. But what I like about an extension is this: an extension doesn't always mean that the player will accept the extension, especially if a third party is already chatting to him about another proper deal. And I don't think Sundowns has an option to extend unless I'm mistaken. But the last I heard from Mazola, Sundowns is looking for a new deal. But what do they gain from signing Mulisi on a new deal? I don't really know, because the guy has barely played for the team, and the guy his best seasons were more his first seasons for Sundowns. After that, he's just been like an in and out player, a sub player, a player who they use more as a sub than a starter. So yeah, I don't know. It's up to the player and his people. Because, for example, I am not someone who believes Mulisi can take Chiefs to the next level, but I can at the same time agree that he is better than probably 90% of our midfield. But the reason why a lot of people will be like, then why don't you sign the guy if he's 90% of your midfield? And the reason I'm saying this is because I fear our management. Our management can sign us Mulisi and then think that they've signed all the midfielders in the world. And for me, if our management is going to sign a player, I'd rather them sign like a Faisal Saloom, who we know is better than Mulisi and probably better than Tebogo Mokoena, a player of that level. And then should they still want to sign Mulisi after they've already captured Faisal Saloom, then I'm happy with that. But the problem is our management, our team has a tendency that they want a certain target. Let's make an example. Kaizer will go out into the media, or not in the media, journalists will come and say, Kaizer Chiefs is chatting to Stellenbosch for Fawaz Basadin. Then all of a second Sunday, they can't get Fawaz Basadin. Kaizer Chiefs is chatting to Amazulu for Hanamob. They can't get Hanamob. Kaizer Chiefs is chatting to another left back they can't get from like Angola, whatever. They can't get that player. Kaizer Chiefs signs Cross, and then the next transfer window, they're no longer looking for a left back. They feel that they can survive a whole season with Cross. And this is the thing I'm trying to avoid by even talking about Mulisi, is because if Kaizer Chiefs sign Mulisi, a player who is not a starter in Sundowns, a player who Jaden Adams came from Stellenbosch and has already overtaken him as a starter. This is what I'm talking about. Sundowns keep signing midfielders that just go in front of Mulisi. And we want to sign the player who can't get to the front. So that is my worry. Then my problem is that then we are not fighting to compete with Sundowns. We are just fighting to compete with the top 8 teams. Because if we get to Mulisi, we're not competing with Sundowns. We are competing with Cape Town City, SuperSport United. We're not even competing with Pirates. And my thing is that's why get Faisal Saloom, then at least we are competing with Sundowns in the midfield, because we'll have Thabo Cele, we'll have Faisal Saloom. Then if Mulisi is still free, then bring in Mulisi. Then at least we know we have backup for either one of those guys when they get injured, and the guy can even come on as a sub and do the right things. And there's even a world where we play a 3-man midfield of Thabo Cele, Faisal Saloom, and Mulisi. That will work, that is a good midfield to have. But if I had to choose between one, I choose Faisal Saloom. So the interesting thing about this is that it seems like there's a scarcity of strikers. So there's not much links to strikers. There's no real link to a striker. I don't know what's happening. We just scarce in terms of strikers. Yeah, and it's difficult. We've been watching the under-17. There's a quality player from this team, is it Burkina Faso, who is like 15. But number one, you can't really sign an underage person. He has to turn 18. And number two, the way he's playing, he's going to go to the Club World Cup and he's probably going to score goals. And his team, wherever he comes from, are going to probably then sign him to a European team. That is just generally how. And the most African players who play in Club World Cup, they don't tend to sign for a South African team if they've done well. Maybe Sundowns could, but most of them won't. But I think those are the two most important players. The Saleng one, I think we've all heard before. There's a rumor that Saleng has already signed a pre-contract with Kaizer Chiefs. But the one thing I always say is this: never confirm a player of Orlando Pirates until your team has announced that player. Because the contracts that these players sign for Pirates are very interesting and weird at the same time. These contracts just, I don't know, players don't know the number of years that they signed. I don't know how the contracts work at Pirates, but players tend to think that they sign 3-year contracts, then it turns out that they sign 5-year contracts and all of these things. And in my book, the rumors we heard is that Pirates had not made an extension on Saleng's contract, and then Kaizer Chiefs came and then signed him on a pre-contract, which means that because Pirates didn't sign him on an extension, Chiefs got there first and signed him on a pre-contract, meaning that he would automatically be a Kaizer Chiefs player. But because we are dealing with Pirates, we will find that even if that may have been true, people are hinting, or there are rumors that Pirates has a way of saying the extension was already done before it was actually done. These are what people are saying. I'm not saying it's true. This is allegedly that Pirates has a way of, changing up these contracts, and you don't even know as a player, maybe that you signed something or whatever the case may be, and then you find out that the pre-contract that he signed with Chiefs is null and void. I don't know how it happens. This is allegedly, so don't crucify me. I'm just saying. So those are the main two players that have been basically communicated to Chiefs in the past few months. The rest are the ones that we know, but I don't think Chiefs is willing to pay for, like Abo Velibai and stuff like that. But maybe Velibai will be easier to buy now, since his team is actually fighting relegation. If that team goes to relegation, Velibai will probably cost that 4 million that they were failing to take at the beginning of the season with Chiefs loanee players. But you guys tell me what you think about these two players, Mulisi and Tabelo Maseka. Would you want them at Kaizer Chiefs as a Kaizer Chiefs fan? And yeah, let us know what you guys think about that. Amakhosi.